Have you ever wondered how a group of colonists managed to defeat the most powerful empire in the world and win their independence? That's right. We're talking about the American Revolution, a pivotal chapter in world history. It's a tale of resilience, rebellion, and radical change that marked the birth of the United States. A new nation built on the ideals of liberty and justice. So, are you ready to journey back to the late 18th century? Let's dive into the remarkable journey of the American Revolution. Every major event in history has a cause, and the American Revolution is no exception. The American Revolution was not a sudden and unprovoked rebellion, but the result of a series of social, political, and intellectual transformations in the American society. Let's delve into some of the significant causes that led to this historic uprising. At the forefront of these causes was the British taxation policy, which was born out of the mother country's massive debt following the French and Indian War. The British government decided to levy taxes directly on the American colonies to help pay this debt. The Sugar Act, the Stamp Act, and the Tea Act were some of the infamous laws that ignited the colonists' resentment. Despite being thousands of miles away, they were expected to contribute to a war that had little to do directly with their lives. Then there was the issue of representation, or rather, the lack of it. The colonists had no representation in the British Parliament, and yet they were subjected to laws and taxes imposed by a government across the ocean. This gave rise to the popular slogan, "No taxation without representation." The colonists believed that they should have a say in decisions that directly affected their lives and their wallets. But the causes of the revolution were not merely economic, they were also ideological. The Enlightenment, a cultural and intellectual movement, had a significant influence on the colonists' thinking. Ideas of liberty, democracy, and self-rule began to permeate colonial society, resulting in a burgeoning disparity between the colonists and their British rulers. The British monarchy's autocratic rule was increasingly seen as outdated and oppressive in the face of these progressive ideas. The colonists were growing dissatisfied and restless, and these factors, the unfair taxes, the lack of representation, and the ideological differences, were the sparks that lit the fuse of revolution. The American colonies were on the brink of a monumental upheaval, an upheaval that would forever transform the course of history. These were the seeds of discontent that would eventually lead to full-blown revolution. The year is 1775 and the American colonies are on the brink of war. A shot heard round the world rang out in Lexington and Concord, marking the first military engagements of the American Revolutionary War. The spark of rebellion had been ignited, and the flame of revolution began to spread rapidly across the 13 colonies. Patriots, ordinary men and women, took up arms against what they saw as an oppressive British rule, and thus, the Continental Army was born. Under the leadership of General George Washington, this scrappy, undertrained, and under-equipped force stood as the embodiment of the American spirit. They were fighting for more than just land, they were fighting for an idea, a principle, the right to self-governance. In the midst of this turmoil, a group of colonial leaders convened to draft a document that would forever change the course of history, the Declaration of Independence. With the signing of this document, the American Revolution was now in full swing, and there was no turning back. Slavery played a significant role in the American Revolution, a fact often overlooked in the annals of history. Both the Continental and British armies drew upon this human resource for their own ends. The Continental Army saw slaves as valuable manpower, offering them freedom in return for military service. This decision was not without controversy, but the desperate need for troops eventually overcame societal qualms. On the other side of the battlefield, the British made a strategic move. They offered freedom to any slave who would fight for the crown. This promise enticed thousands of enslaved people who saw in it a chance for liberty. Their participation in the war on both sides was not just a military strategy, but a fight for their own freedom. In this way, the American Revolution was not just a struggle between colonists and their British rulers. It was also a battle within a battle, a struggle for freedom that transcended the broader conflict. The role of slaves in the Revolution added another layer of complexity to this momentous event. The American Revolution was more than just a war. It was a seismic shift in the global balance of power. The echoes of musket fire had barely faded before the newly liberated colonies found themselves in the throes of nation building. The revolution's end was marked by the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1783. This historic agreement officially recognized the United States of America as an independent nation, free from British rule. The 13 colonies were no longer colonies but states, part of a unified entity that stretched from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River. This monumental shift was a beacon of hope to many other nations yearning for self-determination. But independence was just the first step. The real challenge lay in shaping these 13 states into a cohesive nation, a task that fell to the architects of the United States Constitution. Drafted in 1787, this document outlined the framework of the government, balancing power between the individual states and the federal government. The Constitution was a bold experiment in governance, a delicate dance of compromise and negotiation. It was a testament to the vision of its creators that it has endured with amendments for more than 2 centuries. The establishment of the United States as an independent nation sent ripples across the globe. It was a powerful symbol of the possibilities of self-governance, of the potential strength in unity. In the years that followed, the United States would grow and evolve, navigating the challenges of expansion, industrialization, and various societal changes. In the aftermath of the Revolution, the United States emerged not just as a new nation, but as a new kind of nation. It was a nation built on ideals of liberty, equality, and democracy, ideals that continue to shape the world today. The American Revolution marked the birth of a new nation, one that would go on to become a global superpower. The American Revolution was a pivotal moment in history, a struggle for independence that had far-reaching implications. It was sparked by deep-seated grievances and the longing for self-governance. The battlefield saw not only soldiers but also slaves fighting bravely. The aftermath of this revolution birthed a new nation, the United States, setting it on a path of growth and prosperity. The American Revolution, a testament to the power of an idea, the belief in liberty, and the unyielding human spirit.